Hi everyone and welcome back to the WARNO monthly tournament for September from SD League. Today we have Hippie and Tanner, two titans of the tournament. Both players playing as the British 1st Armoured Division. Hippie is in blue on the left and on the right in red is Tanner. Tanner going for that early cap. It looks like Hippie will be doing the same over there. Slight advantage to Tanner that he did get it in faster. He's also got a command going straight into Charlie. There is also a command coming into Alpha for Hippie. So both going for those early caps. Quite a lot of choppers there for Tanner. Obviously planning to fight off any early units from Hippie's side. There are some javelin launchers coming in there from Hippie though. Equally, javelin launchers at this side. And I mean, they are going to be the mainstay, I suppose, early game. This is the that's the javelin LML, and these are just the javelins. Hippie did rush those foxes pretty far up there. Obviously Tanner has his own foxes here and some rifles, so Hippie's running back over. Foxes pushing here as well into this area. We'll be going up against the rifles. Obviously, close range, the rifles should perform pretty well, but these do have a Radin cannon, so we'll do plenty of damage to infantry still. A jet in the field. It's a tornado coming in for that Jaguar HE bomber. Didn't get a shot off on it, unfortunately. HE bomber has dropped javelins and rapiers back there, firing at that Jaguar, but the Jaguar taking a few hits, but actually going to get out alive. Genuinely impressed by the fact that that just dodged so much fire. Not that the javelins are the most accurate, of course. We can click on that and take a look. 45% accuracy. Not ideal. We've got the LML variant here. And zoom right in on it and have a look. There it is. Interesting, it has 5 hit points. I thought it would just have 2, so that is interesting. Not what I expected from that. What about the javelins themselves? The javelins only have 2. Made them a bit more healthy, I suppose, in terms of, I don't know whether I agree with that. I think there should just be 2 the same. A bit like the ATGM squad should only be 2. Good push coming here from Hippie. Not a lot of response there from Tanner at the moment, to be honest. So Hippie could have a very good push on. Up here at the top, he does have these rocket attack choppers, so he could potentially move them down. But depending on how aggressive Hippie is here, I mean, he's got the Challenger Mark II there. Obviously, this is in the latest patch. He's got more forces here. He could easily push through into these buildings. Tornado coming in there, going for... I'm honestly not sure what it's going for. Oh, he's attacking that over there. Taking some shots from the javelins. Is that javelin going to fire? No, but there is a tornado anti-air in as well. Got about the skin of its teeth, I think, there. It took a few shots. Gazelle coming in. Challenger Mark II coming in down here as well. This is really interesting. Does seem like the forces that Hippie had there are dwindling now, but these rifles, that one's full, but these 2 are certainly taking damage. Tractor Rapier is coming in, a Gazelle recon chopper coming in there. I'm surprised he hasn't moved those attack choppers down, though that one is out of ammo. This one still full ammo. Spartans at the back there. Tractor Rapier is coming in. Plenty of reinforcements coming in at the top for Hippie. Some coming in at the bottom as well, though. I mean, right now it feels like Hippie's in a good position here, that he's pushed out at the point. The ideal thing is that you gain all this area as Hippie. Get the buildings, get the forest, and then you can push up these forests and cut off the supply road here. Forcing this player, who's Tanner in this case, to use the top road. And then ideally you push down from this side as well and cut off that side. And then you've got this point surrounded except for that narrow corridor. Not sure he'll get away with that with Tanner. I feel like Tanner won't let him get in that position if you can help it. But this is really interesting, a mirror matchup. And obviously Hippie is British, so he'll be very disappointed if he doesn't win this one. I felt like for a short while Hippie had an advantage, but I'm not sure he still does. I feel like Tanner has spent some points. Maybe he would let them build up a little bit, I don't know, but it feels like he's got a lot more available suddenly. Gun group there doesn't pose any threat to that challenger. Rocket attack chopper coming in for a rearm. Some more javelins coming in there. Assault pioneers down here. Scouts engaging these rifles. Some tractor APs coming in there. Attack beacon going down from Hippie against that tank. Tank's a little bit above it though. A couple of a mortar in anyway for Hippie at the moment. No other artillery so far. Lynx Hellarm coming in there. Some units moving up around the top now. A lot of build-up of forces here at the edge of this point. I mean, ideally for Tanner, I suppose he would have liked to be out this side, but that didn't happen. Poor Javelin's missing every shot. Mortar in down here as well. Didn't spot that one. And there's another mortar there which is still attached to its vehicle. Just dropping some pain down on these rifles, forcing them to pull back. Marker going down for Tanner now against that mortar. Will Hippie move it? Unsure. Oh, here we go. Artillery piece in for Tanner and a second artillery piece coming in. I assume that's going to be used against those mortars. Obviously they have a long time to aim, but that mortar's not moving. It's likely that Hippie's not too worried if he loses them. They're not the most expensive units to lose there, are they? 15 points apiece. Not going to lose any sleep over that. Good amount of units in here for Tanner in defense now. There's a lot sort of down here though. A good bombing run against that would make a hell of a mess. Down here, Tanner sort of holding the line. I'm just wondering where the potential is for someone to do a push. There is a push going on at the top from Hippie now. Trying to get into that point. He is up against those rifles. The rifles are running low on missiles from the low 80. What is the range on that? Well, it's all the same range, so... He's up against the gun groups. They're small squads, but they can put down a lot of fire. Ah, rocket attack chopper coming in at the back to assist. Very good. A couple of artillery pieces there, dropping some pain down on Hippie's units. Trying to have a look at what's coming in. Spartans there. Some Gazelle rockets coming in from Hippie now. And a chieftain coming in there. Charlie Mark II shifting around. It was down here. He's moving it up to this point, I think. From Hippie's perspective, he needs to get into this point. He needs to dislodge Tanner. He's kind of got a nice defensive line here. I mean, Tanner would ideally like to push in, but I think he's going to have a hard job. The other thing would be if Tanner can clear up everything here and then push all the way to this point, but that's a challenge. There's a lot of open terrain there. There's a lot of time for Hippie to bring in reinforcements. Though he does seem to be whittling down Hippie's forces here. The tank coming in for Tanner now. What happened to his tank here? Did it die? Or did he move it? I think he moved it up there. That's interesting. That Challenger Mark II is fully ranked up. I don't know if it's actually killed stuff or if it's just come in ranked up. This one is lowest rank. Could be that he's got some fully ranked up and some not ranked up. As you know, I like to bring mine in most decks at rank 2. But obviously, there are advantages to bring them in fully ranked up. Nothing. I'm just moving around. I'm looking for something that says to me there's going to be a big push. But I think these two players playing the same division are somewhat equally matched in what they can do. Big push coming here perhaps for Tanner. Lots of attack choppers coming in. Tornado is coming in to engage them perhaps though. Yeah, he must have seen them. Or not, he's veered off. Tornado is coming in to engage that tornado though. Missile missed. Harrier HE bomber coming in as well. Is going after the tornado. God, the Harrier turns slowly in this. Oh, Tanner lost a tornado. He might lose the second one. He has. He's lost the second one. Hippie's tornadoes just won the day there. He won't be happy with that. He's going in for his bombing run now anyway. May well lose that Harrier though. Did he actually drop his bombs? That was a jet crashing there. The Harrier is dead as well. Wow, that was one heck of an air massacre there. There's a lot of dead units. A single remaining Gazelle rocket attack chopper. The others are in the water. And now it's getting stunned and killed by the assault pioneers. That did not end well. I thought they were going to magically swing up and do a load of damage to the front line there, but it just didn't happen. Artillery still being used to good effect by Tanner. Mortars being used to good effect by Hippie. I'm surprised Hippie hasn't brought any artillery. Oh, there is one there, look. As I say that, I was about to say, I'm surprised he's not brought any artillery in, but he was just bringing it in as I said it. Great minds think alike, Hippie. I'm not sure what our excuse is. Chieftain coming in. That's the one that was always there, I think. I think it's just pulled back to repair. Tanner's consolidated his control up here, and look at that. 2 challenges up there now. He's got quite a few squads of infantry pushing around the bottom here. Cluster coming in. What was that cluster going for? Just hitting here? Yeah, very nice strike. That's what I was saying before. There was a lot of stuff clustered there. And it's risky when you got lots of stuff clustered together. One bomber. I mean, he lost the bomber. Whether it was worthwhile, I don't know. Difficult to say. There are plenty of tractor rapiers there, so it might not have been worth it. He killed one, I think. But the challenges survived that little fight. Milan 2 under pressure there. It's kind of out on its own. Artillery piece now in here, firing at this front line, I take it? Yeah, hitting that javelin there. It was out of the forest, so it was visible. It is very dead. That landed right on top of it. It's quite a nice explosion, isn't it? Tanner has a lot of tracked rapiers in this deck. I need to take a look at that again, because I can't remember how many there were, but I didn't think there were that many. Perhaps that's all he's got, is stacks of those and stacks of the standard javelins. Pretty much all he can bring anyway, I suppose. So this point gets redder and redder. Let's be honest. Tanner is now pushed right out to this edge where Hippie did have a bit of a securing force there before. And Tanner is edging closer to Alpha. Does that mean that we say that Tanner is in a better position now? It's really hard to say. I mean, 25 minutes left to go in this game. And this is a hell of a slog for both players. They're both losing a lot. Bit by bit. It's not like there's a sweeping move where one player's losing loads. But, yeah, I'm not sure which way this is going to swing. I feel like Hippie's position at the top is worse now than it was 5 minutes ago. And his position at the bottom is very similar. He didn't have a lot of units down at the bottom here anyway. It's just that Tanner has built up forces and managed to clear out the couple of squads that Hippie had. He's got one Assault Pioneer left, but there's plenty of reinforcements coming in down here. I'm not sure what to make of that. Perhaps... I mean, it means Tanner's going to be able to get into this point, I think, from the bottom with all that infantry. And I'm just wondering how Hippie can respond to that. He is bringing in 2 Centurion Mark V AVRE anti-infantry tanks there. Those are the ones with the big cannons. Zoom in and have a look at those. This will be the... yeah. That will be the defensive force, I think, against this infantry. Obviously using mortars now to try and hit them as well. It's going to be a big challenge to stop Tanner getting into this point, though. He's going to have to be careful how close he gets those AVRE tanks. Because obviously the rifles do have the low 80. It's not bad. 20 penetration. It's going to do damage to these tanks. The Challenger, again, it's got good front armor. 20. But these guys are still going to do damage to it. And if they manage to get a side shot because he's positioning it against these ones, it's going to hurt that tank a lot. The Centurions, obviously, front armor is only 12. They're going to get hit pretty hard by these rifles. And these rifles are going to be right on top of them. Yeah, one dead immediately. Second one is badly damaged. There it is, dead. Yeah. It's a risk. You're getting them very close. HE Bomber coming in to try and get those rifles. Has killed one squad. Other 2 squads survived. Challenger is being hit by this rifle squad here. Rifle squad is retreating. Obviously, they will only do 1 damage per shot to that front armor. Some Gazelles coming in here for defensive reasons. Look at all these warriors with gun groups coming in. What's the plan here, Tanner? Are you going to charge that back point? He could. He definitely could charge that back point right now. But they're very slow. But this point's quite well defended from the center side. Struggling a bit down here, but those choppers are helping massively. And there's, you know, there's anti-air back here, but it's not far enough up to hit those choppers. And obviously Tanner's lost his tornadoes, so he's not going to have any anti-air there. More warriors coming in there. And some Spartan Milans. Big build-up of these guys here. Can they be seen? He's counter-battering against Tanner's artillery now. Tanner hasn't moved his artillery in ages. So, I mean, it was going to happen sooner or later. Whereas Hippie's been trying to move his around a lot. So not surprised by that. I'm just really curious what the plan is at the top here. I think it's very possible that Tanner's going to make a push on the top point delta. He's moving up the choppers now. There's a lot of warriors coming in and some rifle squads as well in Bedford trucks. But it's all those warriors with gun groups. And he's bringing them in for the warriors probably more than anything else. Not that gun groups are terrible, but they're only a 4-man squad. Yeah, he's the push. Oh, wow, yeah, he's doing it. He's going for Delta. And I mean, this is the thing, and this is the... You know, it's in one of my early videos I made for Wargame, in terms of my tutorial videos and guides and things, is that if you can go around a defended point, go around it. And this is that prime example. This is a heavily defended point. It's going to be a nightmare to get into. You're going to lose a lot of units going in. What about this one? There's a supply truck. There's a Gazelle. There's something dead there. There's some scouts. And there's an artillery piece there. There is absolutely nothing defending Delta. So Tanner can just march through. Now, in response to that, I suppose Hippie could hit Charlie from below. But it does mean that he's up against the remaining defensive forces. There are some rifles coming in there as well. And, you know, there is a lot here for Tanner. So it's going to be very easy for him to take that with half of this stuff. So he could turn some of this stuff around and push it down this way. You can see Hippie moving a chieftain up. Challengers moving up. I think this is a good push from Tanner. Over 19 minutes left to go. But I think the position right now that Tanner has put himself in, very little defending here, but the thing is, Tanner has built up a massive force here. There's not quite as much down here for Hippie, so he could push Echo, but then he's leaving this completely open to all these scouts and rifle squads. I think he definitely has the force to push that, but he'd also be leaving it open to a counter push by Tanner from the top down, because he'd have to move some of these units potentially. Now this Challenger Mark II is getting very up close and personal. It's taking shots from the scouts with a lower 80 there, and obviously it will beat those scouts, but a couple of tanks coming in will deal with that Challenger. He needs to be careful of that Sultan though. But up here, yeah, Challenger Mark II brought in, another chieftain's being brought in. This feels like desperate measures by Hippie, but there's an overwhelming force here. You can bring in any tank you want one at a time. It's just going to get wrecked. That point is gone. There's even stuff being brought down here to sort of cover for any reinforcements coming in from this side. Challenger is going straight in here. Rover is being moved into a safer position. That Sultan is going to get popped by that Challenger if he's not careful though. Rifles moving up to try and come in behind it. Challenger's still alive, doing plenty of damage to these incoming forces. Some smoke wouldn't go amiss. These two tanks providing an immense amount of defense, because I didn't realize, but there isn't actually much anti-tank here. There's a command waiting to go in there. He needs to get these infantry close, and the gun groups are no help. He needs rifles there. There's the rifle. But the rifles aren't going to do much against front armor. He needs tanks. His Challengers are coming up now. I'm not sure if they're new ones he called in, or if they're the ones that were there originally. He definitely had more tanks than that before. HE Bomber coming in, putting down the pain on all those gun groups. Challengers pulled back, Chieftains still there. Tanner needs those tanks there. Those two tanks do an amazing job. I didn't realise, as I say, how little anti-tank Tanner had with him. I thought he had missile units and stuff, but he doesn't. Tanner's still trying to push at the bottom as well here. He has got his rifles ever so much closer to this point. 60 minutes left to go. Challenger pushing around this way. Rifles being engaged by the gun group. He knows where the command is now. Challengers engaging. This Challenger, hopefully, soon. No, lost its target. Another Challenger coming in there. I take it back, Hippie. Due to the lack of anti-tank, these tanks coming in have done an amazing job. Hippie's Tornadoes have done so well this game. It's ridiculous how well they've done compared to P.Uri.Tanner's. Tanner's were very disappointing, but Hippies have just stayed alive for most of the game and done a lot of damage in their time. I think he lost one. Hell Arms being brought in now for some anti-tank to try and deal with these tanks. Still a Chieftain alive. He's lost his Challenger. How are these Challengers doing? One of them's damaged and routed. Hell Arms coming in as well there. Cluster Bomber being brought in. I mean, it was a really good push, but it completely stalled against those tanks. I'm genuinely confused about how that happened, because I thought there were multiple Challengers in the push, but maybe he held them back to hold off the stuff from the center. That's a distinct possibility. That's a loss of a jet there for Hippie. Cluster coming back round. Gonna hit this, I assume. Looks like it. Yeah, there it goes. Oh, nice strike. Jaguar was in, being killed by all those tracked rapiers though. This cluster should get out alive. I think Tanner's in that point now. Still got a reasonable defense here. You know, Hippie is having to spend a lot of points on trying desperately to defend Delta. So he's not got a lot down here, which means that, you know, Tanner is just slowly picking away. Picking away. Equally, his concentration is up here as well. Look, he's even bringing in a Challenger command tank now. How many commands has he brought in here? He did have a command here, which is obviously dead. He was bringing in another command, which I assume died on this road to that other tank. He's now bringing in a Rover command and a Challenger command. These rifles are surrounded, being fired at by everything, and are just surviving. The Foxes are ripping them apart with the Raden cannons. How much do these cost now? 55 points. But Hippie's managed to get a good force in that top corner. Look at it. Back to +2 for Tanner, though. But that huge attacking force from Tanner that I genuinely thought was just going to steamroll Delta, held off by a couple of tanks. I know there was smatterings of other units and bombers and everything else that came in from time to time, but those tanks really outdid themselves. Genuinely surprised. Tractor AP is pushing around this way to stop any aircraft that come in from over here. Another tank being called in by Hippie. That Rover will be getting in this side of the point somewhere. So it will go to +4. Hippie having a little prod there to see if you can get that chopper through, but no go. Those tractor rapiers are still there. Chief to Mark 11 coming in this way, heading up there. Command is now in. We'll be heading down here to a safer position. "12 minutes left in this game. And there's all the reinforcements Tanner's been saving up. Loads of warriors with gun groups. Loads of gun groups, all unloaded, just moving around with the warriors. How many is that there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 or 6. Calling in rifles as well now. Yeah, I mean, poor Hippie's forces are completely surrounded there. Chieftain is going to pick off all those rapiers, though. Command is dead from the cluster bomber. Oh, Hippie. I admire Hippie for fighting tooth and nail for this point. I really do. I mean, the poor guy's completely surrounded. All these warriors coming in. Those Milan 2's got minced. That tank's dead. What even killed that tank? Probably the Law 80 guys there? Yeah, I think so. And there's Hippie's little pocket down at this point. Oh, Hippie went for the swing around the back to try and kill the command. But the rapiers have seen those choppers, are engaging. Choppers are dead. I think that's GG, Hippie. I think that's GG. Commiserations. That was a hard-fought battle. That was a very hard-fought battle. Credit to Tanner for taking the choice to push through that way and just keep building up forces there while sort of harassing a little bit down here. It was a good call in the end. It is very hard to get into Alpha. Very hard. Equally hard to get into Charlie when it's properly defended. And, you know, Hippie did the right thing. He came right out into this area straight away, which is the ideal solution when you're wanting to defend that point, because then you can have layered defense out here, and then again, and then in the point itself. And there's a surrender. Kills to losses. Obviously, Tanner was significantly out ahead by the end, but I think for a lot of that game, I think it was pretty close till about halfway through. Really good game, guys. Really enjoyed that. As ever from you two. Really good game. Let's have a look at what stood out there. HE Bomber did well. Tornadoes were doing a good job. Challenger Mark 2s. Look at all of the kills they got. Chieftain. That was that Challenger 2. That was the Challenger Mark 2. Sorry, not the Challenger 2. They don't put those in the game. The Challenger Mark 2. That was the one that was sat in Delta, smashing all of that advancing force. Challenger at the other side. Tractor AP got a lot of kills. Challenger Mark 2. Really good game, guys. Really enjoyed that. Big sort of frontline battle at the start and then that push through at the end. Really good game. And well defended, Hippie. Really impressed with those tanks at the end. Holding off that huge force. GG, guys. Thanks for watching, everyone. Please do like, share, subscribe. Tune in tomorrow for the second game between these two, which is even more exciting, Hippie assures me. So I'll see you all then.